This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
How are you feeling? How are you feeling now? When all the pieces seem like they can't be found, I'll be the friend that is standing there. I'll be the hand holding all your cares. I see you now, I'm not going anywhere. We'll find our way back home. We'll find our way back home. Now we'll never.
The following program is rated MALSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, you so know it. And so do I. It does not matter who the host is. What has always mattered is who the listeners are. Anyways, today's Thursday, December the 5th of 2024, day 340th of the year, and only 26 days left to go. We are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and hanging out with our friends and colleagues over there.
You're being infiltrated. Radio Big.
Yep, infiltration and Radio Big is kind of what we do, is what we talk about, and all that other kind of fun stuff. So you don't have to worry about any of that because, yeah, that's what we do. Anyway, so welcome back to the show. Yeah, hopefully everything's been good, grand in the last 24 for you. I, for some God-unknown reason, decided to wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning this morning and have decided not to go back to sleep. Yeah, welcome to my torture chamber. So there you go. So if you're new here, let's talk about what we do. We talk about safety in the news and safety. If you've been here before, thanks for hanging out and coming back and taking a listen to what the hell we have going on. We are a radio show that also has a podcast that goes into a video stream. Only the first hour of this thing is what we actually stream online video-wise. So just FYI, this is a 3-hour show being on Radio Big, Safety FM, and the Podcast Network. The Podcast Network only gets the first hour as well, as we go into hour number 2 and 3, where it's mostly focused on entertainment, news, and music. So there you go for some information purposes of what the hell goes on here. So that's it. I mean, we have some people that come in and bring us the news stories from the majors, and that's kind of some of the stuff that goes on here. And then I kind of tell you what else is going on inside of the world of the news and the stuff that I found. Anyways, with that being said, why don't we start talking right away about what the hell was trending?
Here is what was trending. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so as I take a look at the trends of the ends of the yen, Elon Musk gets the wax figure treatment and domestic trouble for major American allies. Yeah, I almost said airlines. But we'll talk about that as we are getting into it. Also, Taylor Swift is Spotify's most streamed artist again, and Josh Duggar enjoys luxury behind bars. Yeah, you heard me. Also, A Star's Hollow reunion takes place in a new holiday, and Bill Maher doesn't think that he can handle another Trump presidency. We'll talk about that as in casting calls. And what else do I got? The King meets some Yankees during the raining day in Notting Hill. We'll talk about that as we get into the details of stuff going on. So if you want to interact with the show, easy process to do so. All you have to do is go to callinradio.com. That's callinradio.com. They'll get everything moving and grooving for you. It's kind of the way that it works. So you just kind of come in, talk, do your thing, and then we'll get everything moving on our end. Once you get there, it will have video, audio, and text messaging is the options that are there. Some people will go, well, I can just do that on social media. Well, you can, but you're not going to catch me. You're going to catch me later on because for some reason I do not pay attention to that. Even though it's been reminded to me about 1,000 times that I need to look at it in real time, I just never do because I suck. Yeah, that's kind of what happens. So with that being said, why don't we go ahead and do this? Let's bring in our friends at Feature Story News and let them tell you about what the hell is going on with the news.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. French President Emmanuel Macron is due to address the nation later after the country's government lost a no-confidence vote. Prime Minister Michel Barnier was ousted as far-right and left-wing legislators joined forces to support the motion against him. Barnier had tried to push through a contentious budget without parliamentary approval. France 24 reporter in Paris, Catherine Norris-Trent, says it's an uncertain time for France and its president.
This vote technically doesn't affect his political standing, his role, but there are increasing calls for Macron to call an earlier presidential election because so many people in the country are unhappy with him. And he called those snap elections in June in somewhat a political gamble, trying to boost his government's popularity in parliament, but that massively backfired.
South Korea's defense ministers resigning following the president's failed attempt at imposing martial law on Tuesday. There are sustained calls for leader Yoon Suk-yeol to step down as he faces impeachment over the fiasco. Chris Gilbert reports from Tokyo.
The Defense Secretary, Kim Yong-hyun, is reportedly the only member of cabinet, apart from the president, who knew about Yoon's plan to decree martial law this week and is reportedly the one who proposed it to him. His resignation is another win for protesters and lawmakers who oppose the move, which was quickly shot down by Parliament just after Yoon's surprise announcement on Tuesday. Protesters have also been calling for the resignation of the president. The opposition party has filed a motion to impeach Yoon Suk-yeol, saying his actions were unconstitutional and treasonous. His own party, the People Power Party, is also distancing itself. Its leader, Han Dong-hoon, says those responsible for the plan must be held to account, and he is requesting Yoon Suk-yeol defect from the party.
The New York Police Department says the killing of United Healthcare's CEO was a pre-planned, targeted attack. Brian Thompson was shot dead on Wednesday and the suspect is still on the run. In her first public address since being ousted, Bangladesh's former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina is accusing interim government head Mohammed Yunus of carrying out genocide. Hasina, who fled to India in August, addressed her supporters virtually. Ishan Garg reports from New Delhi.
Sheikh Hasina says Bangladesh interim government's top advisor Mohammed Yunus is carrying out genocide against minorities. She accused Yunus and his supporters of attacking Hindus, Christians and Buddhists in what she called a meticulously designed manner. During her more than 15-year tenure, Hasina was also accused of carrying out political violence, but rights groups say attacks against minorities in Bangladesh have risen since she was removed from power in August following deadly protests. Dhaka says the situation is gradually calming down and all efforts are being made to protect vulnerable sections of the population. Protests against attacks on Hindus have also erupted in India, and the government too has criticized Dhaka for not doing enough to protect minorities.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN. And more now on the killing of the United Healthcare CEO in New York. Nick Harper reports.
Based on the evidence we have so far, it does appear that the victim was specifically targeted.
NYPD Chief of Detectives Joe Kenny made it clear this was a brazen, premeditated attack. The gunman singled out the CEO of private health insurer United Healthcare. Brian Thompson was gunned down outside the Hilton Hotel in Midtown Manhattan.
He ignores numerous other pedestrians, approaches the victim from behind and shoots him in the back. The shooter then walks toward the victim and continues to shoot.
The suspect fled the scene before jumping on a shared e-bike and disappearing into Central Park. Police recovered 3 shell casings at the scene and are processing a cell phone found nearby. Thompson's wife told NBC News he'd received multiple threats ahead of Wednesday's fatal shooting. Authorities have offered a cash reward of $10,000 for information leading to the gunman's arrest. I'm Nick Harper in Washington.
US President-elect Donald Trump's reportedly considering Florida Governor Ron DeSantis as a replacement for Pete Hegseth as the nominee to lead the Department of Defense. Hegseth says he's not going anywhere. Many reports have been made about intoxication and sexual abuse against the former Army National Guard officer, Veterans Association president and Fox News contributor. From Washington, Caroline Malone.
Pete Hegseth said to reporters that Donald Trump had told him to keep fighting for the position, but it's looking increasingly unlikely the president-elect will move forward on his nomination to be US Secretary of Defense. Controversy has been swirling, with multiple reports of alcohol abuse coming to light and sexual abuse and an assault allegation against him. Members of the Veterans Association and Fox News employees have spoken out against Hegseth. At least 6 Republican senators have expressed concern, meaning he may not even pass a congressional review panel anyway.
That's the latest feature story news. Ollie Barrett reporting.
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month, and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
Safety never sounded so terrible. Rated R Safety Show.
If you're anything like me, you have certain tendencies to put things off, such as filing taxes, seeing the doctor, working on that home improvement project that you're supposed to be doing, but you just haven't gotten to it. And while most of the times it works out, the one thing in life that you really cannot afford to wait on is setting up term coverage life insurance. You've probably seen life insurance commercials on TV and thought, yeah, I'll look into it later. Well, the answer is no. This isn't something that you can wait for. Choose life insurance through Ladder today. Ladder is 100% digitals, no doctors, no needles, no paperwork. When you apply for $3 million in coverage or less, just answer a few questions about your health in an application. Ladder's customers rate them 4.8 out of 5 stars on Trustpilot, and they've made Forbes' best life insurance in 2021's list. You just need a few minutes and a phone or a laptop to apply. Ladder's smart algorithm works in real time, so you'll find out if you're instantly approved. No hidden fees, cancel anytime, get full refund if you change your mind in the first 30 days. Ladder policies are issued by insurers with long proven histories of paying claims. They're rated A and A+ by AM Best. Finally,
Since life insurance costs more as you age, now is the time to cross it off your list. So go to ladder.com/safetyfm today to see if you're instantly approved. That's LADDER life.com/safetyfm. ladderlife.com/safetyfm.
Rated R Safety Show. Sarcastic? Never.
I know you all want to hit your revenue targets and get the launch done. Well, making sure that your team knows what to do and how to do it is a huge part of it. So I'm sure that you all do different kinds of training, and I'm willing to bet that you probably use PowerPoint, Zoom, etc. I also bet that when you get someone droning on about a topic using these tools, you probably zone out. And your team does too. I mean, it is a reality of what happens. That's why I strongly recommend a tool called Articulate 360. That makes it so easy to whip together interactive, really beautiful e-learnings that really engages people and gets info across. You can create short-form micro-learning, super interactive courses, and really whatever you need when you're in their site. Then with a couple of clicks, you can send it out and check on it and see the progress of your team. Your team can also check back on the training anytime they want in a super simple portal. Literally everyone uses Articulate. Over 120,000 companies and all 100 Fortune 100 companies. Check it out at articulate.com/360 to start a free trial. That's articulate.com/360 to start your free trial. And don't forget to tell them that I was the one that sent you there.
Listen to our host of the Rated R Safety Show. Self-implode on our airwaves, only on Safety FM.
Oh, you know how it goes. Self-implosion and Safety FM and Radio Big has always been one of those things that you can combine together, I guess. Anyway, 17 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this fantastic Thursday and doing the things that we get to do. No doubt about that whatsoever. So why don't we go ahead and start getting into what we call, the shit list, because that is what we're going to cover. We're going to cover all of the information that one may want to know, and even some of the stuff that you probably don't want to know, because, well, that's how it goes. I mean, I don't know how else to put it. We cover everything. This, that, and the other. So let's do it in this format. An unidentified gunman remains on the loose in New York City after the shooting of the CEO of the United Healthcare at point blank as he exited a hotel on Wednesday morning. According to some reports, the shooter arrived just minutes before the attack, wore a mask, and used a silencer on his gun, suggesting that the hit could have been a professional assassination. NYPD Chief Detective Joe Kenny said that, he said this Wednesday, that after getting off the first shot, the assassin's gun jammed, and then he quickly cleared it and continued firing, suggesting that his proficiency with the gun, so he knew what he was doing. Brian Thompson was pronounced dead at Roosevelt Hospital about half an hour after the incident. He was in New York for the company's investor conference. I think it's kind of interesting because you're not going into some of the information because we're talking about that there was a death of the CEO, but he has been the CEO of United Healthcare for the last 3 years. Not saying that played a factor into it, but who knows what's going on? Because it's kind of a weird one for all of a sudden randomly for you to be targeted for that. I'm just saying. When you start thinking about these things, it gets strange right away. Anyways, two major American allies remain in chaos during a tumultuous week. In South Korea, opposition parties began the impeachment process against President Yoon Suk Yeol following his shock martial law declaration late Tuesday night. 2/3 of both the parliament and the country's 9-member Supreme Court would need to approve the drastic measure. A vote that could have happen as soon as tomorrow. This is according to the Associated Press. Yeah, apparently people don't mess around when it comes to some of this stuff. Also in France, the parliament passed a vote of no confidence in the government of Prime Minister Michel Barnier in protest of his proposed drastic budget cuts. Both the far left and the right wing faction united to oust them. President Emmanuel Macron will appoint a new prime minister subject to the parliament approval. With international focus on Paris this weekend for the reopening of the Cathedral of Notre Dame. It's likely that Macron will move quickly to put someone in place. This is according to the BBC. So it's going to get interesting because that's just normally what happens.
You are listening to a radio god. What? This has to be an error. That host is not a radio god. Anyways, this is the Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
You know, radio god, radio lore, radio whatever, man. Call it what you want. But we always take a look around and see what the hell's going on because, boy, is it a fun time around here when we start doing some of the craziness that we get to do. We're not going to lie about that because, man, things do get strange. No doubt or outer about that. So take a listen to this. Elon Musk has a new wax figure at Madame Tussauds in New York. Yeah, the figure depicts the eccentric billionaire in a blazer and blue jeans, arms folded over the chest with a really bizarre bucktooth smirk following its unveiling of the Upper East Side Explorers Club, and a permanent home will be the museum new exhibit, the Space Gallery. This is according to the New York Post. So I don't know, as I mentioned this, how that's going to go. Why didn't they do the one where he was jumping around at the Trump rally? I mean, I think that could have been interesting. Don't you think? I mean, I never know. Let me see if I can do this. Sometimes I think I can do things with my screen that I can't do. So let's just drag and drop and see. So if you were on the video, this is what the picture looks like. Yeah, that's it. That is the Musk picture. With the arms folded and everything. And I don't understand the buck tooth thing that they're talking about. Let's zoom it in. I guess I see it. I guess I see it a tad bit there. Yeah, so for the radio listeners, podcast listeners, you're going to have to probably go pull that up on your own because I'm not going to be able to describe it to you in a graphic enough format for it to make sense via radio or audio content. So there you go. Also, in Elon's world, sort of, President-elect Donald Trump has tapped Jared Isaacman to lead NASA. Jared is the tech mogul of his own right who plowed billions into space technology research. In April, he piloted a crew into orbit to conduct the first civilian spacewalk using SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket and Crew Dragon capsule. In a statement, Jared said, in part, space holds unparalleled potential for breakthroughs in manufacturing, biotechnology, mining, and perhaps even pathways to new source of energy. There will equivalently be a thriving space economy, one that will create opportunities for countless people to live and work in space. At NASA, we will passionately pursue these possibilities and usher in the new era where humanity becomes true spacefaring civilization. So there you go. So Trump boasted on, I think it was X. Let's say that it was, because I'm not 100%. It does not say. But it says, I am delighted to nominate Jared Isaacman. Yeah, I think that's the correct name there. And an accomplished businessman, leader, philanthropist, pilot, astronaut, and administrator of the national, essentially at NASA. Jared will drive NASA's mission to discover and inspiration, paving the way for groundbreaking achievements in space, science, technology, and exploration. So there will be some things going on right there as we are talking. Also, let's see, thieves in York, England made off with a delivery van full of 2,500 pies made by Michelin-starred chef Tommy Banks Bake Shop. Nearly a ton of pies with the name written all over them in somewhere in the north of England. Banks wrote on Instagram that Banks believes that the crooks likely just wanted to steal a vehicle, and he implored them to at least donate the haul to a community center who can distribute them struggling people unable to afford during the holidays. By the way, they go for about $12 a pie, so the haul was worth somewhere around $30,000. Yeah, you just got $30,000 worth of pies. I mean, that's something. Let's not lie here. I mean, that is like something. So what do you think? I mean, I don't know. And then, of course, there's the picture of the pie. So let's give you a little picture of the pie. Yep. Picture pie. So there you go. It looks like some kind of meat pie, so I don't know. Yeah, take that for what it means. So there you go. Let's see. A firearm believed to be the oldest ever found in the United States was discovered in Arizona. The bronze cannon or wall gun was unearthed along the Santa Cruz River, measuring 42 inches long and weighing about 40 pounds. The firearm was used during 1539 to 1542 expedition led by Francisco Vázquez de Coronado. And it was designed to be mounted on a wooden tripod and used to protect fortification, according to research published in the International Journal of Historical Archaeology. The firearm, which could shoot lead balls over 700 yards, is the first ever to be found in connection with the expedition. This is according to Newsweek. So there you go. What else do we have? Okay, the Dow gains about 308 points to close at 45,014, and the S&P increased by 36 points to close at 6,086, and the Nasdaq increased by 254 points to close at 19,735. West Texas Intermediate closed at $68 a barrel, and Brent crude was at $72 a barrel. The national average price of a gallon of gas was $3.03 on Wednesday, and Bitcoin surpassed $100,000 for the first time ever Wednesday evening. Friday night's Mega Million drawing will be for $579 million jackpot or a $276 million cash payout. So if you want to play the game, you have the opportunity to do so. Because you know how they say, it's all about the game. And now you're playing. Yep, that's how it goes. So there you go. Some stuff to think about. That is for sure. Should I reference this? Because it's there. I'll talk about it. Singer Sabrina Carpenter and actor Barry Keoghan have called it quits after about a year of dating. She's 25, he's 32. The pair first sparked romance rumors after they were being spotted grabbing dinner together last December. So there you go. I don't know if that's important to you, but now you know. Also, we talked about this at the top of the hour. Taylor Swift is the most streamed artist on Spotify for the second year in a row with more than 26, are you ready for this? 26.6 billion. Yes, that's with a B. Billion streams. In honor of her achievement, Spotify added a special wrapped badge icon to her profile, at first for the streamer. Rounding out the top five was The Weeknd, Bad Bunny, Drake, and Billie Eilish. Also, Swift, The Tortured Poets Department, was the most streamed album of 2024. The most streamed song, however, was Sabrina Carpenter with Espresso. This is according to People magazine. Now, listen, I will tell you, I use Apple Music, and then because we do some of the other things around here, we also use YouTube Music. And YouTube did their shit last month, or towards the end of last month. And yeah, apparently I have some issues when I start realizing that I am part of a fan base that is at, what was it, 0.01% of their top listeners of the band that I kept on listening to. Yeah, scary times. Just in case if you're wondering.
It's Cannons.
Yeah, that's the band I've been killing it with over the last year and change. So apparently something there, that's for sure. Yeah, we can talk about that at some other point. I have a whole array of discussion that we could go into if you were so intrigued to finding out more. Okay, so let's talk about this. The degrees of separation between Sean Combs and Jeffrey Epstein significantly decreased this week as Maureen Kamei, the prosecutor who secured the conviction of Ghislaine Maxwell, is now working on charges for the music mogul. Remember, Maxwell was Epstein's wing woman. She helped him traffic and sexually abuse minors. Comey addition to the prosecution comes just days after Combs was denied bail for the third time. How many times can you request bail? I'm just asking. So, if I remember correctly, and I remember, I don't have the greatest memory. He's been denied bail. He's not supposed to go into trial, if I remember correctly. The last thing that I heard was until May. So how many times are they going to push this through before May occurs? And don't get me wrong, I'm pretty sure that nobody wants to be sitting in the pokey throughout the holidays or period. But man, that gets weird relatively quick.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Did you legitimately just say trying? Yeah, I'm trying to be something, all right. Okay, so Welcome to America. British rock band sports team wasn't given the warmest welcome upon arriving to the United States ahead of the U.S. leg of their tour. During a quick pit stop at Starbucks in Vallejo, California, the band van ransacked by a group of armed individuals. In addition to busted out windows on the van, band members say that their laptops, in-ear monitors, cameras, and other personal items were stolen. Enough of their equipment remained that they were able to still perform their show in Sacramento. This is according to Sky News. So there you go. Ransacked somebody's tour van because it's not a bus. So there you go. Anyways, 32 minutes past the top of the hour. And I think it's time for us to do that thing that we do around here. Yep. So let's talk about this. Let's go ahead and do our main story.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Okay. So, in life, things are not perfect. And I hope that you are starting to realize this more and more as we go through our conversations on a daily basis. As we go through our conversations of, this thing that we look at together and go, yeah, safety's good, safety sucks. A little credit to Safety Sucks to Sam Goodman there. But, we look at some of the things and we go, life is not grand, even though we potentially pretend that it is. And for some reason, the people that are on the other side of the microphone here, and sometimes the people that are on the other side of the camera, pretend on how the world is perfect. Like, I will tell you, I get so fed up looking at that shit of people posting of, oh, today I did the speech and blah, 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 and I'm flying to this, blah, 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 and I am so booked out that I am busy for the remainder of the year, so get your scheduling in. I mean, it's the fear tactics, the weirdness. Listen, I will tell you that if you take a look at conferences and you notice that people are taking in super zoomed in close pictures, there's a reason they're doing that, because that means there's no one in the audience. And, having a speech and having only 11 people there, it could be good, it could be bad, depending on how you look at it, what your target audience is. But let me not get onto that soapbox. Let me get into what I really want to talk about. And it's really dealing a lot with not being successful at things. And I know some people are not going to love this, but I think that we need to talk about it. In time, there will be things in your life that you will not conquer, that you will not do great at. A matter of fact, one can even go as far as saying that you will fail at in life. And these things happen, and for some reason, Some people do not like looking at failures and seeing what they have garnered from them, what they have gained from them. Listen, not everything in life is going to work out. And sometimes that is a good thing. What you need to remember is sometimes lessons learned that you have there. Now, here's the problem. Let's say, for instance, you're at a presentation. Now, let's rephrase that. Let's say you're in a conference room and you're talking to some of the higher ups. And all of a sudden, somebody else's turn to go, and they're asking this person some questions, and they start messing up. One's natural instincts is to jump in and to help. And is that a good thing? Yeah, for some. But some people don't like the assist. Some people want to go through where they're drowning because they want to learn something from it. And I know that sometimes we have a hard time looking at things like that, especially because of the stuff that you do. And don't get me wrong, I use this line all the time that I say this to people. What makes me really good at my job makes me terrible in personal relationships. So, can you hold back for a moment and let somebody sink? Because that's what they wanted. It's a very hard thing to do, but it's not that they're purposely tanking the thing, but they want to learn the next level. What could have happened? Now, I will tell you, I remember watching two guys talk, and it was a live format of them talking. And one guy that had been a seasoned professional that had been there for years at this organization was talking to another guy that had been there for probably about 5 years. The original guy had been there for probably a little over 10, maybe 12 at that particular moment in time. And he's going back and forth talking to the guy that's been there for 5 years. And apparently, they had scripted out some of the stuff they were going to talk about. And the guy that was the senior officer there essentially started making fun of the guy that had the 5 years experience and said, listen, if you're going to be the man around here, you're essentially going to have to learn some of the stuff that we're going to talk about. And I will tell you, the guy that had been there for 5 years was pissed off that the guy with the 12 years experience called him out. But the funny part is, the guy with the 12-year experience has essentially on the verge of retiring. Matter of fact, this year coming up will be his year that he retires. But the guy at the time that had the 5-year experience focused on memorization and learning the content of what needed to be spoken about, that if you hear him present now, you would never know that there was an error or a failure that had occurred previously on a grand scale. Now, here's the thing. Was the 12-year guy experience good for calling the 5-year guy experience out? I don't know. When you look back at hindsight, it sounds like it was a great thing that he did because he helped the guy. But also you could look at it of, why didn't he assist him? Or maybe that's what he exactly did do. He did assist him, and we just don't realize that yet. So these are the things that are happening. Maybe we need to think about this differently. If you see failures occurring, and of course, if it's nothing dramatic, of course, I mean, you don't want somebody to get hurt. Maybe we look at it from the standpoint and go, okay, this is what needs to be done. Maybe we should let them see how they handle it before we attempt to jump in. But what the hell do I know? I'm just a guy behind a microphone.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
Hey there, Jay Allen here with Safety FM, where we just don't talk about safety, we live it. And when it comes to safeguarding your future, there's no better partner than Acorns. This part of the show has been brought to you by Acorns and a powerful tool that makes saving and investing easier than ever. We all know that investing can feel overwhelming, especially with busy lives and no time to dive into the nitty-gritty of financial markets, but Acorns changes the game. With Acorns, you don't need to be a financial expert or have a hefty sum of money to get started. In fact, Acorns lets you begin with just spare change. All about those small steps, small investments today that can build into something much bigger over time. Acorns recommends that the expert build portfolio designed to fit financial goals. Then it does the heavy lifting for you by automatically investing your money. It's like having a financial advisor in your pocket working around the clock to help your money grow. So why wait? Head over to acorns.com/safetyfm or download the Acorns app and take that first step towards securing your future today. Remember, in the world of safety and investing, small actions today can lead to mighty outcomes tomorrow. Paid non-client endorsement. Compensation provides an incentive to positively promote Acorns. Investing involves risk. Acorns Advisors, LLC, and SEC registered investment advisors. View important disclosures at acorn.com/safetyfm. At Safety FM, we're all about making smart decisions on the job and in life. So take control of your financial future. This is Jay Allen reminding you to stay safe, stay smart, and invest in your tomorrow.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
Do you have a claim and not sure where to turn? Coastal Claim Consultants are professionally licensed and bonded public insurance adjusters employed exclusively by you, the policyholder, to represent you after sustaining an insured loss. They assist policyholders in all aspects of processing the claim, working closely with the insured to provide the most equitable and timely settlement possible. They will provide you with comprehensive service, anything from inspecting the loss site, analyzing damages, compiling claim support data, reviewing applicable coverages, assessing replacement costs of damages, and negotiating your settlement. The adjusters at Coastal Claim Consultants will evaluate your claim for no upfront cost whatsoever. Coastal Claim Consultants' fee is based on contingency contracts and are paid when the insurance company sends you a check and it's in your possession. Coastal Claim Consultants are licensed to assist you in the following states: Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, and South Carolina. For more information, go to coastal-cc.com. That's coastal-cc.com. For more information, lighting the way to recovery. Coastal Claim Consultants.
We are radio. We are sarcasm. We are both combined. Radio Big.
It's always amazing to me on how technology changes, and so does the environment that we're in. And cyber criminals will do everything they can to take advantage of a system. If you don't own a home, you have nothing to fear about what I'm about to tell you. But if you own a home like me and you don't guard it with home title lock, you're inviting home title fraud. One of the fastest growing crimes. Cyber thieves around the world know our home values are sky high at the moment, and that makes us a target. The crime is scary simple. Let me explain it to you real quick. A cyber thief simply forges your name on a property sale form and refiles it. That's it. Now he or she is on the deed of your home and you have no idea that you're a victim. Then the person takes out a loan on your home and vanishes, leaving you to prove to the police that you didn't commit bank fraud. Home Title Locks puts a virtual barrier around your home title. The instant they detect any kind of tampering or anybody messing around, they help shut it down. Look, if you have equity in your home, you need to guard it the best way that you can. Some people might even go as far as guarding it with their life. Go to HometitleLock.com and register your address to see if you already are a victim. And enter the code RADIO. That's RADIO. That's the code RADIO for 30 days free of protection. That's code RADIO at HometitleLock.com. radioarrsafetyshow.com.
Tearing the ass out of you like gas station sushi.
Not gonna step back, not gonna step back now. We're flying higher, we're gonna reach the clouds. I'll be the friend.
Okay, you are still hanging out here on the Rated R Safety Show. Also part of the Jay Allen in the Morning Show on Radio Big. It is currently, 45 minutes past the top of the hour. Yeah. And you are taking a listen to Way Back Home by Jonathan Gully. Songs readily available on Spotify, Apple Music, and of course, YouTube Music. Yep. You might want to give that one a little streamer-eamer action, because it is a good time. Find your way back home. Even though most people will be doing that during the holiday season. So there you go. Okay. So thanks to Jonathan Gully for allowing us to play this here on the Rated R Safety Show. No doubt about that. Okay, so let me tell you about the most important thing that I will ever tell you in my lifetime. And do you know what that's going to be? If not, you haven't been here enough, because we need to talk about it. That's for sure. And that's about my friends at To Write Love on Her Arms. No matter what you're facing, you deserve to be connected to help. And the people at To Write Love on Her Arms want you to know that people have been where you are now, and things can get better. Healing is possible. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to TWLOHA.com. That's TWLOHA.com. That's To Write Love on Her Arms. And click on the section that says Find Help. Once you get there, all kinds of information readily available for you related to addiction, depression, anxiety, eating disorders, self-injury, suicide, trauma, grief support, just to name a few. So just to find out more information, TWLOHA.com. To Write Love on Her Arms. Like I will tell you, potentially life-changing information readily available for you right there. That's how important it is. Once you get there, go all the way to the far right-hand side and click on the section that says Find Help. Because listen, it could be a changer. Not just for you not just for you, but it could be a changer for anyone. Yeah, we need to talk about this subject because it's super important to discuss. No doubt about that. Anyways, TWLOHA.com. To Write Love on Her Arms. Take a listen to this. Cats are tagged with labels of indifferent and aloof as they couldn't care less if humans were around or not. But they are really as independent and uncaring about companionship as they are reputation suggests? That's a question, not a chance. According to a study published in the journal Behavioral Processes, in 2017, researchers at Oregon State University conducted a series of tests known as preference assessment on 50 random house cats. They placed them in kennels in isolation for several hours and then exposed them to 4 types of stimuli: human, food, toys, and scents. It was determined that the felines displayed a clear preference for human interaction even over being fed. Food came in second, with toys and scents came in much further behind. And interestingly, as the results held true among shelter cats too, my cat would be the exact same, because she knows that if she's nice enough to me, I'll give her food. Additionally, it's true though, people are always saying the cats are aloof and they don't really care about humans, and that's by the people who love them the most. So that should tell you something. If you're trying to get attention from your cat and the cat is saying There's a reason for that. It's not like it's just, one of those things where you go, oh, yeah, it doesn't matter. Now, the cat cares, but the cat's going to give it to you straight up, saying, yeah, you're either going to love me or you're going to hate me. Just kind of the way that it goes. Anyways, with that being said, let's bring some John Smalls into our life and let him tell us about the Motivation Minute.
The Motivation Minute is brought to you by GenesisGoldIRA.com.
The Motivation Minute.
Today's quote was submitted by Nathan. William Jennings Bryan said, "Destiny is not a matter of chance, it's a matter of choice. It is not a thing to be waited for, it is a thing to be achieved." Very nice quote. Now, if the name William Jennings Bryan sounds familiar, it's because he ran for president in 1896. Here's why that's interesting. He was one of the youngest people ever to lead a major party ticket for president. He was just barely old enough in his mid-30s. Now, he didn't win, but he inspired millions in his crisscross train tour of America. He was also popular enough to get the honor to run again 4 years later in 1900. Spoiler alert, he lost both elections to William McKinley. But that's okay. Don't ever be afraid to lose.
The Motivation Minute.
This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of GenesisGoldIRA.com. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Hello, I'm Richard Exley with your 1-minute devotion. Betrayal is a bitter blow, regardless of what form it takes. Whether we are talking about an incestuous parent, a spouse who is unfaithful, or a friend who turns on us, the emotional fallout can be devastating. No one is immune. Sooner or later, most of us will suffer some form of betrayal. Therefore, it is critically important that we learn not only how to survive betrayal, but how to overcome it. David said, "Yea, mine own familiar friend, in whom I trusted, which did eat of my bread, hath lifted up his heel against me." Help us, Lord Jesus, for betrayal tempts us to become bitter and cynical. Heal our hurts and restore our joy. Amen. If these devotions are a blessing and an encouragement to you, you can subscribe at oneminutedevotion.com.
Here is the news on the Radio R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. French President Emmanuel Macron is due to address the nation later after the country's government lost a no-confidence vote. Prime Minister Michel Barnier was ousted as far-right and left-wing legislators joined forces to support the motion against him. Barnier had tried to push through a contentious budget without parliamentary approval. France 24 reporter in Paris, Catherine Norris-Trent, says it's an uncertain time for France and its president.
This vote technically doesn't affect his political standing, his role, but there are increasing calls for Macron to call an earlier presidential election because so many people in the country are unhappy with him. And he called those snap elections in June in somewhat a political gamble, trying to boost his government's popularity in Parliament, but that massively backfired.
South Korea's defense ministers resigning following the president's failed attempt at imposing martial law on Tuesday. There are sustained calls for leader Yoon Suk-yeol to step down as he faces impeachment over the fiasco. Chris Gilbert reports from Tokyo.
The Defense Secretary, Kim Yong-hyun, is reportedly the only member of cabinet, apart from the president, who knew about Yoon's plan to decree martial law this week and is reportedly the one who proposed it to him. His resignation is another win for protesters and lawmakers who oppose the move, which was quickly shot down by Parliament just after Yoon's surprise announcement on Tuesday. Protesters have also been calling for the resignation of the president. The opposition party has filed a motion to impeach Yoon Suk-yeol, saying his actions were unconstitutional and treasonous. His own party, the People Power Party, is also distancing itself. Its leader, Han Dong-hoon, says those responsible for the plan must be held to account, and he is requesting Yoon Suk-yeol defect from the party.
The New York Police Department says the killing of United Healthcare's CEO was a pre-planned, targeted attack. Brian Thompson was shot dead on Wednesday and the suspect is still on the run. In her first public address since being ousted, Bangladesh's former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina is accusing interim government head Mohammed Yunus of carrying out genocide. Hasina, who fled to India in August, addressed her supporters virtually. Ishan Garg reports from New Delhi.
Sheikh Hasina says Bangladesh interim government's top advisor Mohammed Yunus is carrying out genocide against minorities. She accused Yunus and his supporters of attacking Hindus, Christians and Buddhists in what she called a meticulously designed manner. During her more than 15-year tenure, Hasina was also accused of carrying out political violence, but rights groups say attacks against minorities in Bangladesh have risen since she was removed from power in August following deadly protests. Dhaka says the situation is gradually calming down and all efforts are being made to protect vulnerable sections of the population. Protests against attacks on Hindus have also erupted in India, and the government too has criticized Dhaka for not doing enough to protect minorities.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
Okay, here we are currently. Yeah, currently. For some reason, oh, hold on. I know why I lost it. You know why? Because I didn't do this.
Some of the best things in life come to those who wait, but we ain't waiting for shit. Radio Big.
Yeah, that's what I was supposed to press, and apparently I don't know how to press buttons anymore. I mean, I know how to press certain people's buttons, but that's about it. Okay, so let's talk about this, because, you know, that's what we do. We talk about stuff that is going on. Let's talk about some things that happened back on this date. Back in 2018, Americans observed a day of mourning for the former President George H.W. Bush as he lies at the state capitol rotunda in Washington. Bush passed away on November the 30th from vascular Parkinson disease at his home in Houston, Texas. He was 94 at the time of his passing. Let's talk about some birthdays that are going on today, because some people are going to want to know that. Conan Gray turns 26. Maddie Pop turns 27. Alexandra Beaton turns 30. Frankie Muniz turns 39. Lauren London turns 40. Carrie Hilson, 42. Shalom Harlow turns 51. Catherine Tate, 55. Lisa Marie, 56. And Margaret Cho turns 56 as well. So there you go. Those are some birthdays that are going on. If you're looking at some days to celebrate, I have some of those for you. It's National Blue Jeans Day. It sounds like a Lana Del Rey song for sure. Let's see. International Ninja Day. Bathtub Party Day. National Communicate with Your Kids Day. World Soil Day, International Volunteer Day, National Repeal Day, and that's going to sum it up for you as we are talking. If you're looking for a random joke, I definitely have one of those, because why would I not have a rando for you? So let's talk about that. I accidentally became important at work, and it's ruining my life. If you need a phone starter for today, try this. What are you interested in? That most people aren't. If you need a question for the water cooler, try this. Supermarket chains have reported an increase in sales after making this change, and has nothing to do with the price and selection. What is it? Dimming the lights. Yep. Dimming the lights. So there you go. Anyways, that's going to sum up our time together. Thanks for hanging out with me on this lovely Thursday, because what else would I be doing, if I wasn't hanging out with you, that's for sure. So thank you for always being the best part of Safety FM and Radio Big, and that is the listener, because without you, it makes no sense to do what we do around here. At the top of the hour, I'll be going over to radiobig.fm for the next couple hours or so if you want to come and hang out with me. If you don't, that's fine, because you can hang out on Safety FM with the likes of Sheldon Primus as he talks about the world of safety consulting. So there you go. Some options for you if you're so encouraged to listen, do, interact, whatever. There you go. Anyways, if I can leave you with a deep thought for today, I would love to leave you with this one. Never take a person's dignity. It is worth everything to them and nothing to you. Think about that. It can take you places that you never expected. Anyways, I know who you are. You know who I am. Love ya, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.
your cares.